airports haven't drawn those yet.
And it's changing as well, right? The line, I know the FAA used to require registration. Now they do not.
Well, now they cannot because the court struck that down, that regulatory system. But that's a roadblock, a temporary roadblock, I think, because the basis for it wasn't that this is like some grossly illegal thing that the government can't do. It said, look, the FAA just doesn't have that authority currently from Congress. They overstepped a bit. Chances are, down the road that they'll revisit that regulatory system and say, yeah, maybe that registration's a good idea.
They wanted to charge fishing license fees, basically what it would boil down to.
Right. Fish with a drone.
Right. You can fish with a drone, actually. It's been done.
Yeah, I'll go fishing like that. I sit at home and just send my drone out. And then I bring back fish. I would totally start fishing again if that was the case.
But then you'd have to have the drone or the robot that cleaned the fish for you.
Yeah, no.
And then
No.
Because it's you.
I'll just get fish at the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no, because and again, it's like and then where is that line drawn? Like we had the guys from the Detroit Drone Company in here that have like, the big 10 propeller systems that can. I believe he said, I'm not going to say that it could haul away a dead body, but it could haul away a dead body. Which is a little different than walking into like Target and buying the TIE Fighter drone. Or something like that you'd whip around your house for 20 minutes before the battery dies.
Right. Yeah, it is. And, there's just so mane cool things that people are finding to do with these. So literally yesterday, I'm riding on the People Mover in Detroit and go by Joe Louis, and there's some event there. And there are cops sitting outside Joe Louis with a drone getting ready to fly it over the crowd just to keep eyes on folks. I mean, law enforcement's not waiting for permission. They're out there doing it. The news stations in town, journalism folks are doing it. We attended a really cool presentation about a month or so ago from a guy who does these things for, I think it's Channel 7, if I'm not mistaken, who gets great footage of local news events, traffic jams, all sorts of stuff, using his drone that he can fly out there on a moment's notice rather than trying to spin up a
break
helicopter.
Through traffic.
Yeah.
Modern day periscope. I mean, it's military's using it just to see over the hill. There's a commercial.
Yep.
Hey, let's go.
Well, no, I mean, and it's a real thing, and then you've kind of got that blend between the two worlds because now you've got drones that are whipping around, basically mapping things better for these AR systems,
Sure.
that are coming along.
Yeah, and that's that's exactly why this. I haven't mentioned this yet, but there's a practice group we just launched in my firm, and it encompasses media like augmented reality and connected devices like drones, other IoT devices, because it's artificial to put those things in separate buckets. Your last example just showed how these things overlap because they facilitate each other.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Well, there's did that game ever come out? We talked about it like a year and a half ago, and it was like it was real life Call of Duty. Where basically you had your phone out, which looked like a gun sight.
I do remember that.
But I remember that one point in that trailer, a drone popped up and basically dropped a nuke on a group of like 8 kids.
Yep.
I'm like, oh my God, this looks amazing. Yeah. And I don't think it ever came to fruition. Anyway, I just thought of that.
But that stuff, and there have been concept videos galore of that kind of stuff for years, right? People imagining what could be done in AR. But if you're tracking, I don't know if you've covered AR Kit that's coming out for the iPhone 8 on iOS 11, but I mean it's looking like it's going to be the signature feature of the new iPhone, and there are already developers out there just turning out every day amazing content. For years, from the time I first got into this, I and others have been saying, when AR really hits the mainstream, when it becomes the next big thing, is when Apple gets behind it. Because they have the cachet to make it cool, to make everybody want to do it, and that is exactly what they're doing this fall.
Well, and that's kind of the lingering question that a lot of the articles that are out there, I mean, even the one that I was reading about the debacle in Chicago, were pointing out, is that kind of the weird thing about Pokemon Go is that it didn't spawn just a ton of clones really quickly, there's 87 different versions of Candy Crush. There's, all the, basically once a game gets remotely popular, there's clones galore of it available. So I mean, why?
Well, there's a few different layers to that question. First of all, they did, and nobody noticed. because Pokemon Go came into the game about 6 years late. There have been location-based AR games like this for years. In fact, it was built on the back of another one that Niantic put out 6 years ago called Ingress. They just used the same data set, reskinned it to be Pokemon, and all of a sudden everybody's going insane over it.
It's the remix.
Yeah, it is. they repainted it with IP that people actually cared about, and lo and behold, it's popular.
And they said Mr. Worldwide in the beginning, and then all the kids liked it.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, and
It's nostalgic. I think.
Well, and
people miss
geocaching's
that.
been around forever.
Yeah. It geocache. It's a digital version maybe of geocaching,
Yeah.
but it hit a chord, right? If it had been released at a different time, with maybe Pokemon had was on a downstroke or something, maybe it wouldn't have caught fire like it did. But it was serendipitous. But that stuff has been around for a long time. There have been several more since. There was a brand new company called Motive.io. It's actually a Canadian company, but they just released their beta to folks a couple of weeks ago, where you can build your own location-based AR game, and there's some cool stuff being done with that. Another platform like that opened up last year. So there are plenty of things out there. It's just not a lot of content catching fire like Pokemon did. And unless you have a creation platform like this, it's also a little bit hard to do just on a logistical basis, because you need all that mapping data, you need all that 3D geolocation data. Unless you've got that to work with, it's hard to start from scratch.
And that Motive, that's extremely cheap too. It's like $195 a month for just a couple developers. That's insane.
Yeah, super
Basically opening up to the rest of the world now.
Yeah. I met those guys at the Augmented World Expo last month in Santa Clara. They're doing great things. They're just a few young dudes from Canada who had a good idea. And there are other companies like that. Met two more at the same conference that were doing basically the same thing.
Wow.
Very cool. All right, so folks want to get a hold of you and maybe learn more about this, or they want to, or if they think they may have a case or something like that. How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, a couple ways. So WNJ.com is my firm's website. You can find my bio on there and information about our practice group. I blog at wassom.com, my last name, WASSOM.com, where my Augmented Legality blog is located. And email bwassom at WNJ, Twitter BDWassom. One of those places you'll find me.
Very cool. This is one of the, we could sit here for an hour at least talking to him.
Yeah, right. I know. This is kind of like when the guy dropped the cybersecurity insurance thing.
Right.
Like, what?
Mind blown.
Well, Brian, appreciate coming out here on last notice. We sincerely appreciate your time, though. And we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with Amanda Luan from Bamboo Detroit. This is the IT and the D Show.
And we'll be right back.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back. This is segment 3, episode 206, the one and only IT and the D Show. Yes, we're IT and the Detroit Show, and yes, we're in Royal Oak, Michigan here at Podcast Detroit. This is Bob the Sales
If
Guy.
that bothers you, suck it.
Exactly. Dave, that's Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG, and Randy. I do the Twitters, Walkers in the House.
You actually have a membership at Bamboo's. You have a downtown location.
We do. And we have another one in Southwest Detroit soon.
See, I mean, you've got it.
Right. Like we need cred. Follow us online.
Sorry, we've only been doing events since long before any of you who are bitching about this moved to the city.
Read Suburban Kryptonite, where
Right.
we couldn't do events in the city. Find us online, itandthed.com. No, seriously, we were doing an event at Hockeytown in 2011.
And we got a block of tickets from the Wings, for 2 weeks before the season ended, for the Wings Vancouver Canucks. So a killer game with playoff implications. Announced it. The first response we get is from some woman who says, "Well, why would we want to get our cars broken into? Why would you?
Can't
do
we just
something
take
downtown?
a bus from Royal Oak?
Yeah,
So I don't get my do I have to go downtown for this event?
yeah.
So,
yeah.
That was 2011. Anyway, subscribe to us on the socials and like us on everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Yes.
On the Apples and the Androids and the iOSs.
All the places.
Right. So, hey, that giggling you've been hearing for the last hour and a half is our favorite friend, Amanda Luan, the CEO.
I don't know.
You have the
Yeah, I just
titles
made that
of me.
up.
You did. CMO? No, I'm kidding. The CEO of Bamboo Detroit. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Phenomenal.
That's great.
You haven't been in a long time. We missed the giggling, but we've been reading all about you guys doing amazing stuff. And I took a walk in your new facility.
When? I wasn't there.
I went with
You went without me.
with Hans. Hans took me through.
Oh, he's really great.
Yeah, he is.
He's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It was almost done. It wasn't quite done.
Oh, that was a while ago.
It was a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
But you guys have expanded, and you're growing up, and so talk to me about where'd you move, and your expansion is like multiple floors now. You have private suites. I mean, Bamboo's more than just hey, little co-working. Oh, this is cute. You're legit now. No, you guys have done grown up, and it's awesome.
That's really nice of you to say.
It's true.
So yeah, we moved over. So we started Bamboo 4 years ago. For anyone who doesn't know, just an idea between a few friends. We literally just wanted a place to work together, and then we worked on all these other business ideas, and they all failed. And then one day we kind of looked around and we're like, hey, people actually like being at this space we built. We should probably work on this instead. So it was kind of an accident, but at the same time intentional, because we knew there was a lack of a safe, inclusive, and a very affordable place to go. So while downtown's getting all these
affordable, because
while downtown, there's a boom right now, so prices are going up sometimes crazy.
Daily, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. Retail is ridiculous right now. Everything downtown is going up. So co-working is an opportunity to make it more affordable for people, especially as you get to building that density. So we realized, though, we had a lot of requests for private offices. So we built out a new place, 1420 Washington. We opened January 1st. So now we have a mix of private offices, open and dedicated. And now that a lot of our community that we built up, just like you guys, over the years, you're slowly building this community, they've started to grow, hiring. And they kept saying to us, oh, I heard you said you might do another floor. Can we get on that? So
Right.
so we said yes, and we kicked it off, and it should be open September 5th. So we'll have
Awesome.
2 floors, 10,000 square feet. I think we're always going to try to be wherever location we go to, 10 to 15,000. That way it's not too big where you get lost in the community, but you still feel very connected, and we have a lot of different options. The 4th floor will be a little more private, so one of our members calls it the bougie bamboo floor.
Nice.
She's getting the nice big window office.
It's
She's the one who
bambougie.
kind of forced us, kind of was hey, I really don't want to leave.
No, it's
where's the other
bambougie.
opposite?
That's what you call it.
everyone has different needs, though. The open floor collab space is great.
It
But if
is.
you're a loud sales guy like me, you don't want to be going on a sales call and
Right.
going in the middle of the floor because you bother everyone.
Well, more to the point, nobody wants you to be going on that
right,
call.
which is why I never. Right.
Yeah, so that's why, the next floor will be more private, more quiet. It'll just be 10 offices,
Right.
and it'll be a good mix, so you have different options. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's really interesting that, the queue line just kicked off, right? I think you were just reading a news article about it. So now there's all these density and, people coming down. So it'll be interesting to see how much that continues. Some people, like Mark, my boyfriend, thinks that when the big arena opens up, he's like, it's going to be busier than downtown Royal Oak. There'll be people just up and down, going everywhere. And you can kind of see that increasing over the years. So it's super interesting to watch. And it's great that we've been able to stay and that we've been able to grow and, make it work. Because I don't think that's the case for everybody. I think it's kind of tough when the rent goes up.
No, quite. That's the key
Well, that's
point.
literally the price of progress. That's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you fix that building up and then charge more for it
Right.
to be there? Bad.
Blasphemy.
Bad people. No, but that's a huge issue because you have people there that were, I don't want to say that, doing different things that were used to it a certain way.
Yeah.
And at one point, 3/4 of the buildings down there were completely vacant. Now it's completely opposite. And now there's an absolute premium. We look at the real estate pricing all the time and we're floored.
Yeah.
By 50,000 lofts used to be. They're now added 2 more zeros. Or 1 more zero.
Yeah.
Sorry.
At a minimum. Yeah.
Right. But oh my God, are you kidding me? Is that an impact on, is that help or hinder, I guess, what you guys are doing?
So far, I think it helps us because shared office space is more affordable. So if you're going to go out on your own, you're going to sign a 5-year lease probably. You're going to pay for your internet, all your bills, your cleaning. You're going to have to get insurance. You'll have to put down a big deposit. But what we do is we take all that risk for you because we're really nice. And then we give you smaller
not
spaces.
why.
And we charge you less. So it tends to be like 40% more affordable than going out on your own to get like a shared private office.
I think like just either just yesterday or today, there was something that came across on Facebook from Bamboo.
Yeah, we just put together a little chart because we realized, oh yeah, this is actually how we make it really affordable is by taking all of that on for you. And it's really great for startups because you don't know if you're going to be around for 5 years. You can't sign a 5-year lease.
Well,
Yeah,
not
you're gonna be
just
around
that.
And most people are